Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be drafting this stylish blouse that you can see on your screen. I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 16 inches. And the last point is my blouse length, which is going to be 24 inches. So go ahead and determine how long you want your blouse to be. After doing that, rule straight lines across all the points and label the lines. The next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement. On that point, I'll go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll slant from there into the neckline area. After doing that, I'm going to take my armhole circumference divided by 2. Okay, so you can just place your tape around your armhole and measure it. Whatever you have, divide it into 2. Another way to do that is to divide your round bust circumference by 6, and then add 1.5 inches to that measurement. My round armhole circumference divided by 2 is 8 inches, so I came down from the shoulder slope by 8 inches. On the bust line, I'm going now up by 1 inch because I want to rule a straight line across. Okay, after the 8 inches, I have 1 inch before my bust line. Okay, so I went ahead to connect the dots on the 8 inches to meet the shoulder slope, and then I ruled a straight line across. So this particular line is going to serve as my chest line. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll mark the 4 inches on the chest line, on the bust line, on the under bust line, on the waistline, and on the blouse length, and then I'll connect the 4 dots into a straight line, as you can see me doing. After doing that, I'll place my tape on the under bust line, and I'll go out by 1 inch on the side front. Okay, and I'll also take the same 1 inch on the waistline and on the blouse length. On this other side, which is the center front, I'm taking 1 inch also. So if you're busty, you can do 1.5 inches on the side front. Okay, but I'm using 1 inch on both sides because I want it to be easy for me to stitch, and I'm working with a bust of 36. So after doing that, on the bust line, I went down by 1 inch. I indicated the 1 inch with a dot. I'm going to place the curved part of my ruler from the under bust line to meet the 1 inch, as you can see me doing. Okay, and on this other end, I'll place the straight part of my ruler because I don't want it to be too curved. I'll connect all the way to the 1 inch. Okay, after doing that, this is what I have. The next thing is to determine how deep you want the neckline of your blouse to be. Okay, so what I'll do is to go up by 1.5 inches from my chest line. You can maintain the chest line that you have if you want the neckline to be low. For me, I'm going up by 1.5 inches because I want it to be high. You can do 2 inches or 2.5 inches depending on what you want. After marking the 1.5 inches, I ruled a straight line across, and I retook my darts, which was 4 inches. Okay, so I'm extending the dart leg to meet the 4 inches. The next thing I'm doing now is tightening my over bust. To do that, I'm taking 1 inch on both sides of the straight line. I'll connect from that point to the chest line, as you can see me doing, and then you're going to blend everything. If there's any sharp edge, just go ahead and blend it. After blending, this is what I have. So I want to do a sweetheart neckline. What I'll do is to connect from the dart leg to meet the previous chest line, but if you want yours to be really deep, you can connect all the way to the bust line. So it depends on what you want, and if you don't want a sweetheart neckline, you can just leave the neckline the way it is. Okay, so I placed my tape on this straight line, and I divided what I had by 2. On that dot, I went in by ½ an inch. On my chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4, and I replaced this small dart that I have at the middle. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope to the ½ an inch that I came in with, and from there to the dot that I have on the chest line, as you can see me doing. Okay, so for this side, the armhole area, I decided to just extend the line out. So this is a 2 bustier. I do not want the armhole to be too open. I'm going to adjust that. What I'm doing now is adding my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. On the under bust line, I'll place my under bust circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart of 2 inches, and I'll add my 1.5 inches for my stitching allowance. On the waistline, place your waist circumference divided by 4, replace the dart and then add your stitching allowance. But I want to snatch my waist, so what I will do is to take out 2 inches from my original waist circumference. My waist circumference is 26 inches. I'll take out 2 inches, making it 24. So 24 inches divided by 4 is 6 inches. So I'm placing 6 inches, and then I'm going to replace the dart of 2 inches and I'll add 1.5 inches for my stitching allowance. On the blouse length, I'll place my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll also replace the dart and I'll add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. So you don't have to snatch your waist by 2 inches. You can snatch by 1 inch, you can snatch by half inch, depending on how comfortable you want to be. Okay, so after doing that, I'll place my ruler. As you can see me doing, I'll connect from the bust to the waist, and I'll connect from the waist to the blouse length. Okay, so the next thing I'll do now is to go up from the blouse length by about 2.5 inches, because I want to create the design that you can see on the waist area of the blouse. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to fold my dart, okay, making sure it is matching. If it's not matching, I'm going to blend it. Okay, so as you can see, it is matching. So go ahead and create any type of style that you want for the waistline. As you can see, I'm trying to work my way around it. Okay, so if you want a basque waistline, just go ahead and do it. So I'm trying to figure out what I want. I'm not really good with drawing, so you can use your ruler to achieve what you want to achieve. So I'm trying out different styles. Once I get what I want, I'm going to just cut out. Okay, so if you want it really deep, you can use your ruler as a guide. Okay, but make sure that the dart is matching. You can see me folding my darts first before marking, so that by the time I'm joining after cutting, everything is going to align. So now that I've gotten what I want, which is not too deep and the basque is not really basking, but I'm going to manage this. Okay, so I don't want this armhole area to be too open because it's a tube dress blouse, sorry. So what I did was to come up by half an inch. Okay, from the armhole I came upward by half an inch. So I'll use my free hand to just connect it like this, so the armhole area is not too deep. Okay, but you can just leave it the way it is. Okay, so after connecting, this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and cut, so please pay close attention so you know where to cut. So guys, I'm done cutting and this is what I have. So if you notice that you don't really like your waistline, you can still adjust it. Okay, I'm just going to place my own together. I'm trying to get this really V basque waistline like what you can see on the thumbnail, but I will need to come in a little bit more. So I decided to just leave it like this for now. I can always adjust it after cutting on my fabric. Okay, for the back, I've gone ahead to roll out my lines to save time. The first line is my chest line, the second one is my bust line, the next one is my waistline, and the last line is my blouse length. On the shoulder line, I went in by half of my shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches. On the 7 inches mark, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope, I went down by half of my round armhole circumference, which is 8 inches, and I connected the 2 dots into a straight line. I placed my tape on the straight line and I divided it into 2 equal halves. After doing that, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. On the chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4. I also indicated that for the back. For the front, remember I went up by 1.5 inches, and because I don't want the back to be too low, I also went up by 1.5 inches for the back. Okay, after indicating the 1.5 inches, I went ahead to roll a straight line across. So this is where my back neckline is going to start from. If you want yours to be deep, you can maintain the chest line. Remember, I went up by half an inch on this part of the armhole. I repeated the same thing for the front because we need the front and the back to align. So I just connected it to the dot that I have on the previous chest line, on the chest line actually. So after connecting, this is what I have. So on this center back, I'll be lacing the back, so I don't want the back to be too high. So I came down by half an inch from this line. Okay, I came down by half an inch. I'll blend it back to the armhole area, as you can see. Okay, so because I want it to sit perfectly at the back, I came down by half an inch. So I already have my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. What I'm doing now is to add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. I'll blend into the armhole area. Next thing I'll do is to take my dart. To do that, I'll come in by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll mark 4 inches on the bust line, on the waistline, and on the blouse length, and I'll connect the 3 dots into a straight line. After doing that, I'm going to take half an inch on both sides of this straight line. I'm doing that on the waistline, half an inch to the left and half an inch to the right. On the blouse length, I'm going to come up by about 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Okay, I'll do 2.5 inches. I'll indicate the 2.5 inches. So what I'll do now is to connect from the 2.5 inches to meet the half an inch dart, as you can see, and I'll connect from the waistline all the way to the bust line like this. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and start placing my measurements. On the bust line, I already have my bust circumference divided by 4, and I've added my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. On the waistline, I'm going to repeat the same thing that I did for the front. I took out 2 inches from my original waist measurement, and I now divided the new waist measurement by 4. After doing that, I replaced the dart of 1 inch and I added my stitching allowance. On the blouse length, I'll place my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll add my stitching allowance since the dart did not extend to the blouse length. Okay, after doing that, I'll connect from my armhole area, that's the bust line, to meet the waist, and from there to meet the hip. On the side, just like I did for the front, I'm going to go up by 2.5 inches because the side is supposed to match. Whatever you do, make sure that the side of the front and the side of the back is matching. So you can decide to also go up on the center front by 2.5 inches, as you can see me doing, or you can decide to just connect from that part to meet the other end. It depends on what you want. Okay, if you want it straight like this, that means you reduce the back by 2.5 inches on both the center front and the side front. And if you want to just connect from the side and allow the center to be as long as it is, you can choose whichever one you want. Okay, so now that I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to take out 2 inches from the back. That is because I want to lace the back. Okay, so I'm taking out these 2 inches. The 2 inches, I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so after marking the 2 inches out, you can either fix your eyelet to the back or you can add loops to the back. So it depends on what you want. Okay, so when cutting, I'll be cutting this part out. So now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and cut. So pay close attention so you know where to cut. So I'm maintaining the other line. I'm not using the straight line, I'm using the slanted one. Okay, so after cutting, this is what I have. Okay, so it's just the side that I cut out the 2.5 inches. I'm going to now split my dart open. Okay, so go ahead and do that. And if you don't want to split the dart open, you can just find a way to cover it up. Okay, just fold it on each other and then use your tape to hold it down depending on what you want. Okay, after cutting, this is what I have for the back, and that is all for the pattern drafting tutorial. I'll be uploading the sewing tutorial soon, so don't forget to like this video, leave your questions. I'll see you in the